I'm talking about how this has quickly turned into a political one-upmanship game between the Democrats and the Republicans. Obviously, the states that are governed by the Democrat governors are fighting tooth and nail against the act of President Trump of sending in the Marines and the National Guards, which has never happened in the history of America in the last 65 years. I am also being joined by Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar. Ashok Sajjanhar, how must a government act on the people who are immigrants, whether they are from Mexicans, because I think the large majority of them were Mexicans against whom these arrests that have been made, but we saw those visuals that there were people who were looting this Apple store in the middle of the night. We saw the the buses and the cars were being burnt down. The freeways were completely seized by these rioters, and that's the only word that comes to me when we talk about these. Although other media channels in the West, especially CNN and Reuters and so on and so forth, are calling them protests, but these protests have turned violent. And how should a government tackle this? And then the other question about when there have been an executive order of deporting immigrants from the soil of America, do you think this act of immigrants taking violence as a path to protest against the government really could bring any advantage to them?
Yeah, thank you very much, Megha. Your voice has not been very clear, so I have not been able to completely comprehend what you said, but I could get the drift of that. So if I'm audible, then I will continue and share my thoughts with you. Basically, immigration is a red hot button issue as far as the United States is concerned. Now, without really going into the merits of the case, because, I'm sure there are very many different perspectives, but immigration was one of the issues on which President Trump had fought the election and won the election.
Yes.
And that was seen as one of the, the Achilles heel of President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. In addition to immigration, it was the inflation aspect. But immigration was right on top of the, of the agenda. And so he feels, of course, justifiably compelled to take action as far as the undocumented immigrants and illegal aliens, as they are called, are concerned. But, dealing with these issues, of course, first it is, whatever treatment you have, it has to be legal, it has to be fair, it has to be balanced, it has to be just, and it has to be seen to be just. And obviously, why these protests and demonstrations are happening is because the people who are affected, the people who are involved, they don't consider it to be, just. And, obviously there can be very many different ways of looking at it. But the other aspect, is the fact that, the huge polarization that exists in the United States between the Democrats and the Republicans, and the manner and the peremptory manner, and if I could also call it, somewhat unilateral and arrogant manner in which President Trump has acted. And unfortunately, that is in tune with, his treatment that he has been meeting, not only domestically, but also globally. You look at the way he's been, talking about Canada becoming the 51st state of the United States. And, meaning even if there is any intention of going ahead in that direction, definitely that is not the way that you go about it, making Greenland one way or the other. Even if we have to use military means, we'll do that. And again, even as far as his allies and partners are concerned, whether it is in Europe or it is in East Asia, even as far as India is concerned, talking about this so-called mediation of so-called ceasefire, So I think he is, whatever his intentions might be, but the manner in which he is going forward is
Okay.
not the right way.
Okay.
And this is what seems to have happened even in the case of, acting against Gavin Newsom, the governor. And there also you have to see that if the state demands it, state requests it, you send the National Guards, you send the Marines have never been sent. Marines are a military force, and you don't really put them in your domestic law and order
Okay.
issues. It's only, when you have a conflict or a confrontation with a foreign power that Marines are called into action.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think both aspects in terms of the seriousness of the subject and the manner in which it is being handled, I think both are being called to question.
Bharat Pirai, quickly a response from you with regards to what Ambassador Sajjanhar and Professor Nalapat have spoken about it at length. I just want to understand, what should a government do at the center if riots are emerging out of a state in this city in Los Angeles, and the government in place at the state level is doing nothing to quell these rioters?
I agree with what Ambassador Sajjanhar said about the manner in which President